Die Volksrepublik China, lange Zeit als Bastion der Stabilität und des wirtschaftlichen Fortschritts gepriesen, sieht sich einer beunruhigenden Entwicklung gegenüber. Einer Welle der Gewalt, die sich in Form von Messerattacken, Amokläufen mit Fahrzeugen und anderen brutalen Angriffen in erschreckender Häufigkeit über das gesamte Land erstreckt. Während diese Vorfälle in anderen Teilen der Welt mit Sicherheit für Schlagzeilen und internationale Empörung sorgen würden, herrscht in China und darüber hinaus ein beunruhigendes Schweigen. Die schockierenden Ereignisse der letzten Wochen und Monate zeichnen ein düsteres Bild einer Gesellschaft am Rande des Nervenzusammenbruchs. In Qingdao rammte ein Fahrer eines Betonmischfahrzeugs mehrere Fahrzeuge, bevor er versuchte, sein schweres Gefährt in ein belebtes Einkaufszentrum zu lenken. Nur durch glückliche Umstände und die Barrieren vor dem Gebäude konnte ein Massaker verhindert werden. Der Fahrer, der sich selbst filmte, während er sein Fahrzeug in die Menge steuerte, rief: „Die kommunistische Partei lässt mich nicht leben, also werde ich Menschen töten." Dieser Vorfall ist nur die Spitze des Eisbergs einer erschreckenden Entwicklung. Habecks Verweis auf China als Vorbild ist zudem äußerst fragwürdig.
In China, da gibt es eben keine Opposition und keine Mitbestimmung. Und wenn die Fehler machen, dann werden die trotzdem nicht abgewählt. Vielleicht gibt es mal irgendwann eine Revolte in China. Aber erst einmal ist das System effizienter. Wollen wir das oder wollen wir das nicht? Und ich glaube, dass die Entscheidung kann man nicht ökonomisch treffen. Die kannst du nur wertegeleitet treffen und sagen, ja, also ich würde sagen, ja, das wollen wir.
Zwar mag das chinesische System auf den ersten Blick effizient erscheinen, doch dieser Schein trügt. Die Unterdrückung von Meinungsfreiheit und die Verfolgung von Dissidenten sind die Kehrseite der Medaille. Zudem ist das chinesische Wirtschaftssystem von Korruption und Vetternwirtschaft geprägt. Die scheinbare Effizienz des chinesischen Systems basiert auf der Ausbeutung von Arbeitskräften und der Missachtung von Umweltstandards. Die Folgen sind Umweltverschmutzung, soziale Ungleichheit und eine massive Verletzung von Menschenrechten. China ist kein Vorbild, sondern ein Mahnmal für die Gefahren der Autokratie.
And in fact, it's been an ongoing thing for months now.
Hold on, I just want to say something. It's one of those things that has been happening nonstop since the economic downturn.
Yeah.
And societal pressure has been building up, and it's one of those things that we have been appalled and shocked that there is almost no news about it, not only in China but anywhere.
Anywhere in the world.
And it's insane. It's absolutely crazy.
If his vehicle hadn't physically stopped, he would have run over lots of people, right? But this shows you what's going on in China. This is called revenge against society. And this is what happens when people reach their wits' end. In China, there's just this phenomenon. You reach your wits' end, you have no out. Something terrible's happened to you, you've lost all your money, you just cannot live, something awful's happened in your life. The only way people seem to take out their frustrations is by attacking society. In other words, just going on like mass killing sprees.
There's no protest. There's no freedom of speech. There's no legal outlet. You can't even air your displeasure with the government or whatever happened to you.
So we've been seeing this happening, well, almost every day across China. There's been some or other incident that's similar to this. If you were to see this and you posted about it online on your social media and your media post just got deleted
in the main city, by the way.
Yeah, here's proof of the posts being deleted and people not being able to comment. Imagine you tried to do that. That's what happens in China, and that way they stop the spread of this news. People don't know about it because it's all deleted and censored. Let's take a look at what's happening next. We actually wanted a flashback to Shanghai on the 30th of September, so a month ago. A Chinese man went on a stabbing spree in Walmart in Shanghai. Remember, Shanghai is the most sophisticated city in China. He stabbed 18 people, including children, and he killed 3 people and injured 15. But again, what was their explanation for this? They said he came to Shanghai to vent his anger due to a personal economic dispute and committed the above-mentioned acts. See what's next. Okay, now Hebei in Shijiazhuang. Here we just had a taxi driver go on a stabbing spree. And again, we don't want to get into the nasty details of these events, but it's just, we have to show you that these things are happening all over the country. What happened next? These are chronological, by the way. So this will be on October 11th in Quanzhou in Fujian. A Chinese man stabbed 4 people, killing 2 and injuring 2. Let's move on to our next one. This time in Fujian, in Zhangzhou, Chinese man deliberately rammed into a middle school as parents were picking up their children, seriously injuring the students, and his car then burst into flames. Now, this is particularly heinous, and something that we've seen a lot is the attacks against children, and schools in particular. And this is something that's been going on since the early 2000s, I'd say. Next. Now we're in Ningbo in Zhejiang. A 50-year-old Chinese man brutally stabbed a mother and her child on the way to school, and their condition is unknown. Again, this is just one of those horrible situations where a random attack happens against a child and their mother by a middle-aged man, and it's random. There's no connection. There was no family connection. There was zero connection between the attacker and the victims. Let's move on as we get closer. Where to next? Nantong in Jiangsu. Okay, a Chinese man deliberately drove his Xiaomi EV into a motorcycle shop, destroying multiple bikes, and then he stabbed somebody who sadly didn't survive. And these are all happening day after day. As you can see, the dates are in every one of these things we talked about. There's a date attached to it, you can see. Some of them happen on the same day, some of them happen the next day, but it's almost impossible to go a day without one of these incidents happening in China at the moment.
And it's hard for people to get this information out, so you can imagine how many are actually happening.
Absolutely.
You know.
Let's see where the next incident takes place. October 24th, in Jingdezhen, in Jiangxi, a Chinese man deliberately drove over students outside of the Jingdezhen University. Again, targeting students. He drove through a crowd of them. Of course, we cannot show you any of this because it's horrific. But we know some facts about Jingdezhen, don't we?
Yes, it's a ceramic capital of China, porcelain.
But again, unfortunately, students being targeted seems to be quite the running theme.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens next. This time in Beijing, middle-aged Chinese man stabbed 3 school children. Again, randomly, just outside of a school. Of course,
there's a lot happening all at once.
Yeah. And again, the dates. Sorry, let me get back to the date. I forgot to read it. I probably should read the dates. Yeah, sorry, October 28th. So this is Beijing, the capital. Even the capital is not exempt from this kind of thing, because you would think, okay, Beijing, there's a big military presence. You know, it is the seat of the government. You'd expect that these kind of incidents don't happen that often, but they happen in Beijing too. It's around the entire country.
Beijing's seen a spate of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Explosions and stabbings.
Yeah.
And
so again, 3 school children just randomly stabbed by a middle-aged guy. It always seems to be that. It's awful. It has to be talked about because it's the only way this will ever stop is if people talk about this. It is a phenomenon that's uniquely from mainland China. It really is. This idea of middle-aged men attacking young children doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. Not in this frequency, anyway.
It's a combination of revenge on society and also copycat attacks.
Yeah.
You hear about it and then it's replicated, you know. It's kind of like the school shooting thing in America. Huge epidemic of school shootings in the U.S. that you don't see in other countries.
Correct.
It's very unique to America, just like a lot of this stuff is unique to China.
Correct, yes. That's a good analogy. Okay, also in Beijing, staying in Beijing, on the same day, October 28th, an adult art student stabbed a female classmate in a Beijing art studio. All right, where are we moving to next? Nanchang in Jiangxi. A Chinese man stabbed and killed a woman at the Nanchang Institute of Science and Technology.
What a Jiangxis.
Yeah, it seems to be quite common. I can confirm that all of these are real, and we're not showing you the footage because that's not what we do here.
No.
Right? What's next? Next, we have Shenyang in Liaoning. A car intentionally rammed into a famous morning market, injuring scores of people. More than a dozen were injured, and other casualties are unknown.
This is something we've seen a lot of recently too, is this idea that you get into a car and just drive into people. And that's not something I had seen previously in China. I mean, there's a ton of road fatalities and accidents all the time. It's a horribly dangerous place to drive / to be a pedestrian. But this intentional like vehicular homicide stuff is like definitely copycat attacks right now in China.
Yeah, so that was November 4th, just a couple days ago. Because they want to inflict as much damage as possible. When people snap like this, they just... You know, that's what they want to do. So, you know, you can imagine this incredibly crowded market and someone just rides right through it.
For sure.
Again, why is this not headline news around the world? Because this is a big event.
The thing is, that the issue that I have with this stuff is that, I mean, I saw in the chat as well, there are crazy things that happen everywhere in every country every day, right?
Yeah.
But all those things are documented, right? Yeah. Those things are huge news. You turn on BBC, if you turned on BBC and somebody had driven a car and killed a bunch of students in a school, then that would be news, right?
And that you're saying crazy things happen all over the world. You're saying that because you know about them.
Yeah, correct.
That's the only reason why you're saying that.
The reason this is unique is that you don't know about it.
No,
right?
you don't.
This isn't being reported. It's not being put out there. That's unfair. Why is it that when 4 Americans were stabbed in China, it made huge, massive news? It was front page on every single publication.
Yes.
Every major publication.
Correct.
Why is that the case? But then when Chinese people get stabbed in China or run over or these mass attacks happen, these crazy, crazy things, it doesn't make front page news.
Yeah.
It's a little interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unfair. It's unfair to the victims.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. So of course it doesn't end there. Where are we going to next? Lodi in Hunan. November 6th. So this happened... Sorry, I better rewind so we can actually see what...
2 days ago.
Yeah, this happened. Actually, it was November 6th evening, so it's really just 1 day ago.
Okay.
Because, you know, China's ahead. A Chinese man deliberately drove his car into a student outside of the Lodi number 8 middle school and fled the scene. Again, it's attack against students. Anyway, I realized that this might be in poor taste, but this looked very much like those chalk drawings that the investigators do when they... you know, mark out a body in the movies.
Sure.
Angesichts der schleichenden Erosion demokratischer Werte ist es wichtiger denn je, die Demokratie zu verteidigen. Wir müssen uns bewusst machen, dass die Demokratie ein zerbrechliches Gut ist, das unserer ständigen Pflege und Aufmerksamkeit bedarf. Wir dürfen nicht zulassen, dass die Sehnsucht nach einfachen Lösungen und starken Führungspersönlichkeiten unsere Freiheit und unsere Rechte untergräbt.